Well, folks, here's the deal. Just coming from Originator Connect in Vegas, it's apparent that we are in a full-blown cash out world. It's a cash out world like nobody's ever seen before, and it's because of a trifecta taking place. Never before in the history of America have we had so much debt: car loan debt, student loan debt, credit card debt, SBA loan debt. We're a debtor nation, all-time high, coupled with an all-time high of residential home equity. We're talking almost $30 trillion. That's a lot of cheddar out there in home equity. And then the third part of the trifecta is never before in the history of America have a first mortgage interest rate in place been so low. I mean, it's a generational rate, you guys, meaning, listen, if mom and dad pass away, the kids will take over the house and they're not going to tell their servicer. They're going to keep that 3% interest rate and keep paying on that. It is a generational rate. So, with that said, it's a cash out world, and we're doing a lot of cash out bank statement loans. Now, one of the lowest hanging fruits out there for all you loan officers, originators, if you've ever done a bank statement loan in the past, reach out to that borrower because what? They're self employed. Never underestimate the desire for an entrepreneur or a self employed individual to get their hands on capital. Why? They can take $90,000 and double it in 120 days through their business acumen. So reach out to them, offer them access to the equity in their property. These are loans that they can't walk into a credit union and get. These are bank statement seconds, up to $750,000. We go to 90% combined loan to value. We're doing it on owner occupied, second home, and investment property, and there's never a prepay on any of these seconds.
So it's up to
So
90 CLTV, second mortgage, self-employed, bank statement loan. I know he does them, and he knows them. He does them well because he did one for me. I don't know if you remember that, Eric. You did
I
mine.
do remember that.
Yeah.
And I'm
So,
honored that you came to me for that loan, Frank. I really am.
well, I mean, the threats that you make are pretty impactful, if I didn't. So, you're a scary guy sometimes. I'm kidding. But so 90% CLTV bank statement loans, right? Uh,
That's right.
Yeah, a couple more minutes with you still here. What else is cooking? I mean, what is there anything that you want to make sure people are aware of when it comes to the non-QM bank statement deals? And I'm hoping Eric can help me segue this over to Danny with respect to the P&L letters or the P&Ls that he provides and the CPA letters. How does that connection work between you and Danny?
I think it's worth pointing out that, listen, bank statement loans are not the same loans they were, let's just say, 7 years ago.
Hmm.
When we came out with bank statement loans years and years and years ago, we've been doing bank statement loans for 12 years. We were doing them before the CFPB delineated what is a qualified and a non-qualified mortgage. So we've been at this a long time. And I'm telling you, it was wonky back then. Now, this is such a streamlined process. It's amazing. And you're going to come upon a sole proprietor. They're crushing it, but they never even formed an LLC or an S corp. Never got a business account, but now they're just old Jed's a millionaire and wants to go buy a couple $1 million home, and they're doing TurboTax. They're doing their own taxes. Now, when you need an expense ratio statement, what do? They don't even have an accountant. In comes Danny. Danny,
Hmm.
you guys is he's bonded. He's got a guarantee if the deal doesn't work, he's not going to charge you guys. What can you imagine an appraiser going out there doing the appraisal, and if the value comes in low that the loan doesn't work, the appraiser doesn't charge. That would be unheard of. I'm telling you, with Danny, you guys, there's really no risk to it. It's a streamlined process. And I'm here to tell you the alt income bank statement loan, you guys, is so mainstream that it ought to be in the same category as Fannie and Freddie.
Hey, Eric, I got a question for you. How do I, what's the message? So I've got a database, I got a past database of borrowers, right? Um, how do I get the message out? Like, this is what I offer. Like, what do I say to my past database? And or is my primary target telling real estate agents that I have this available?
So I think it's just, I love marketing with either using FOMO or a compelling question. Want to tap into some of your equity? Just want to tap into some of your equity. That's it. Do you want to? And can't document income? Call me. You don't want to spill the candy in the lobby, but you want to tap into some equity and you can't prove income? Call me.
Good stuff.
Good old Dean Jackson 9-word email type stuff. That's great stuff there.
Yeah. Listen, guys, we got a special link. I hope you guys listen. Eric and Angel Oak coming on as a sponsor for LLBC. I hope you show some love to them. We've got a link for them. Workwithangeloak.com. Workwithangeloak.com. Justine will drop that into the chat. If you got a deal you need some help with, you want to reach out to them, just go to workwithangeloak.com. So let's segue over. We've got James going, what does Danny do? So here we are. James, we're with you, brother. We're bringing Danny on right now. This is really cool, guys. And there's a special connection today for LLBC peeps between Danny and Angel Oak. So listen carefully. Danny, good question. What the heck is it that you do?
All right. So everyone remembers the three big names in non-QM. Carrington, Angel Oak, obviously, and Kind Lending. My background is I'm not a tax guy who jumped into non-QM. I was an LO at Carrington. I ran teams at Angel Oak. And when Kind Lending decided to revamp their non-QM in 2021, they hired me away from Angel Oak. We went from 0 to 145 million a month when I resigned to start non-QM Verify. So during that time, more direct to James's question, during that time, I had non-QM boot camps that we put LOs and AEs and brokers through. And a portion of that boot camp was literally overcoming objections from CPAs and tax firms. And I got to tell you, I'm a pretty good salesperson. Those efforts, mediocre at best. You're not going to convince someone to risk their license, their business, to give Jane Doe Hair Salon a verification letter. So I had 3 events that happened in 1 week, and finally the light bulb went off, and I said, you know what? We have to make this process easier on the borrower and easier on operations and production, so they're not chasing around for these different, verifications from people that really don't want to give it to them, that won't use their template, that put that CYA paragraph in there. We don't verify anything. We just do what the customer tells us, blah, 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 right? So we launched this, and so far, over the last almost 2 years, 2,138 deals. So that's 2,138 people that wouldn't have gotten their house or wouldn't have gotten that cash out HELOC from Eric Morgenson without us stepping into the deal. And I always joke that we support 21 and a half of the top 25 non-QM lenders. We're approved. We have their templates. The broker says, hey, it's going to this lender. We got it. We know how to package it. We know how to send it over. So to answer James's question, when you have a borrower that either the CPA refuses to cooperate, or they used one of the big national strip mall tax preparation places like in H&R Block or Jackson Hewitt or Liberty Tax, those employees are prohibited from issuing these verifications and these P&Ls. And then anybody can check this, Google it yourself. 60 million to 70 million people self-file their tax returns. They don't even have anyone to call. So all 3 of those situations, we step in and we solve this issue for those borrowers. And to build on Carl's point, what do you have that's new? I can tell you from experience, I swear on my eyesight, I was doing a training for a room full of realtors in Dallas, Fort Worth, and I said, raise your hand if you've ever had a self-employed, home buyer in the last year that told you the market's too crazy, I'm out. And almost everybody put their hand in the air. And I went around the room and I said, how many did you have? 3. How many did you have? At least 10. How many did you have? 1 or 2. How many did you have? 7. And I said, you know what? All those leads, they were lying to you. They're not going to tell you that B of A turned down their application. They're not going to tell you that Navy Federal said they had too many deductions. They're not going to share that with you. Send them a text right now that says, hey, we have a new lender that doesn't require tax returns. Does that get you remotivated to get back in the market? And that weekend with 30 RE/MAX agents up at the Gaylord Resort in Dallas-Fort Worth generated almost $6 million in locks within that 2-week period. So they're not asking the right questions. And I would say to any of the LOs that are out there, if you want to dominate that market area, there's 2 things that you can do off the cuff. Number 1, this is what we did at Kind Lending to go from 0 to 145 million a month. I don't care what area you're in, there's a restaurant association. The restaurant owners is the number 1 demographic for bank statements. I look at bank statements from taco trucks doing 20 grand a month. You can buy a $600,000 house on 20 grand a month. So join the Restaurant Owners Association. Pay for the next networking event. You probably sponsor it for $200 or $300. Ingrain yourself in that community. Most of these restaurant associations won't let you just send out email blasts. They're not going to let you spam anybody. But most of them will send information on your behalf to the whole database for $50. Do that every couple of weeks. I'm a huge fan of low cost, no cost marketing. And this is the number 1 way to get in to that market, is to penetrate into the real, that restaurant owner market. So, and
Killer.
Carl, I'd love to partner with you and do something on that. I have all the scripts. I've done this presentation. I have the 4 or 5 slide presentation ready to go. And if it's within a day of driving from Houston, I'll do it for them. I've done this presentation in a room full of 200 restaurant owners and had 10 people standing in line waiting to talk to us afterwards.
Danny, that is
Yes.
killer. Great strategy, man. Love it, love it, love it. But for the sake of time, I want to go ahead and field some questions real quick. On the non-QM side, Kristen, anything there that we need to address for Eric? And
yes,
then
there's 2 people who have the same question. How about my client who has only ITIN, no social security number for the self-employed borrower?
We will do a self-employed ITIN borrower purchase only, and cash out only, no investment property. It is a fairly high mark. It's a 70% LTV program. But yes, we can do a self-employed ITIN borrower.
Okay.
All right.
Workwithangeloak.com. Guys, if you have anything non-QM related, workwithangeloak.com. Also, with respect to Danny and how he can help you with the CPA letters and the P&Ls to get those deals done, there's a code LOBC10, LOBC10. His website is non-QM verify. That's VERIFI.com. It's in the chat. Use the code LOBC10. But here's the special. If you run your non-QM deal through Eric, and let Eric know I need Danny's help, you get even a deeper discount, but you have to make Eric aware of what's going on. Any others for Eric, Kristen?
I don't think for Eric. I think this one is for Danny. How can you do this when the cover letter says that the CPA has been doing the taxes for the last 2 years? And Daniela, you might have to explain that one.
Yep. So remember before when I said we support 21 and a half of the top 25 lenders? Some lenders require they will only accept verifications from the filing agent, the agent that actually filed the tax return with the IRS. Unfortunately, we can't step in and save those deals, right? I hear Eric going, boo, right?
Ooh,
So
why limit them?
listen, but that's, and there's one lender in the half, the 21 and a half. That's because they love our verification letters, but they require the P&Ls come from the filing agent. So we can't help them save those deals. So great question. Great question. And you should also look at when you're quoting a deal, here's the number one way that you cross over into that quasi illegal, unknowingly, how you can get yourself in trouble. You go on Optima Blue and you pull up a lender and you grab that one. Oh, it's a P&L deal. I'm going to grab this rate. You quote it to the client. The client says, yeah, let's go forward. You disclose the loan. You lock the rate. You're waiting for the conditions to come in, and you find out that lender will only accept P&Ls from the filing agent, and the filing agent says no. Now you got to go back to the borrower and say, oh, your CPA screwed this up or whatever that might be. Total, it looks like bait and switch. You don't want to get into that trap. So always look at, when you're quoting out a deal, look at the parameters and then look at what does that lender require for certifications or credentials, because some won't take just PTIN, right? Which is the base entry level license. You have to have the CTEC rating or a CPA rating. You want to make sure that they accept those from the third party that can step in. Thank you.
Hey, Danny.
One thing, Frank, one thing.
Yeah.
What if the borrower hasn't filed taxes in 7 years? We don't know. We never see anything to do with their tax return. So bring it on.
There you go. Perfect. Danny, what's the cost for you?
So the verification letters are $4.99, and the P&Ls are $8.99. And we've set this very competitively. We kind of cross-shopped it across the country, and the 10% off for the loan officer breakfast club is 10%. We double that. It's 20% off. You contact Eric to get that code.
There you go. Okay, so guys, Danny and Eric, why don't you go ahead and put your contact information into the chat as well, just to have it there. But we would prefer, guys, if you do want to get something non-QM going. I think, Brian, you said you had a question, something like that. Please go to the workwithangeloak.com. Just put in your info, what your question is, click the button. They'll get to you guys right away. They'll get to you right away, just like we do with Kelly or we do with any of our other sponsors, right? Workwithangeloak.com. Also, Danny, his website is non-QM Verify, which is VERIFI.com. Non-QMverify.com. You get more information there. I know a lot of you guys still have some questions. Reach out to Danny and Eric directly that way. We would appreciate that. So good stuff today. Interesting. Carl, interesting, isn't it?
It just never ceases to amaze me of all the opportunities that's all around us in all different areas, and we just don't even know what's available, quite frankly. So it's it's a big deal to be able to help. Like if you come in with a big S on your chest and save a deal, it's more than just one commission check. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's also oftentimes we kind of want to experiment with a little niche. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to niche this thing, and this is kind of a neat thing. Like, I love what Eric's, questions were. Do you want to tap some equity? Right. What was the other one, Eric, about can't your income? What was your other phrase?
Want to tap into some of your home equity, but can't document income?
There you go. There you go. Can't document your income? Call me. Simple stuff. You can niche this stuff, man. Get connected with Eric over at Angel Oak and Danny Flucke to get the CPA letters and the P&Ls for those guys that haven't filed taxes, the restaurant people. And what a great strategy, the restaurant associations in your area. Danny told me that, about a month ago, and I did look it up, and there is one in Sacramento, quite a big one, to tell you the truth, Danny. I was like, dang, I got to start exploring that. So good stuff, man. Well, terrific. Anything else before we get out of here, or is everybody cool?
There's a lot of specific questions, but what I would say is they all Danny and Eric put their email and their phone number in the chat. So I said would reach out to them with specific stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Because we can't linger here. Because Carl, I'll get in trouble with the ladies if I can't linger. So, I got to move on. That's the way it is. But thank you guys. Listen, Danny, thank you. Eric Morgenson, thank you so much, man. Work with angeloak.com and then nonqmverified.com. Go get your non-QM on, my friends, and we will see you guys here tomorrow on the Loan Officer Breakfast Club. You guys have a fantastic day. We'll see you then. Adios.
Have a wonderful day, everybody.